Hey, all you freaks and geeks, welcome back to Play the Hits. After a year and 2 weeks to the date, we are back with AM2R. How you doing, Nick?
Hey, I'm doing all right. Sorry, that's my intro. That's what I got.
That's what Nick's got tonight. You are wiped, if I'm correct. Hey, Sparks says welcome back, Nick. Oh,
No,
you can see Sparks now.
what do you? Oh, yeah. Okay. So what is this? Like a new display or something?
So this is what I've always been able to see while we're streaming.
Because no one else could see what I'm seeing here. Like
right. So you're able to see our
a...
full stream setup now, which with the newest Discord update, I am able to give you the not only this video setting but also audio, so that it finally works the way we've always wanted it to.
Oh, okay. All right, I got you. Is that like a Discord update or
Technically, yes. I mean, Discord has historically been finicky about what audio and video you can display together.
Oh, okay, I got you. Now we can see all the stuff. Gotcha.
Right. So like
where'd
previously,
we leave off on this?
If I wanted to show you this, you would have gotten no audio.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
Sparks is just so happy you can see her now.
Yeah. So how far are we in this? I forget. Partially because it's been like 10 years since I've played AM2R, and then, yeah. Anyways.
We are pretty much exactly at the halfway point.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, remind me, was this made in Metroid Fusion's engine, or what was this made with?
This was built. God damn it! Built from the ground up by Dr. M64.
No, I mean like what pre-exist. This isn't an engine of any kind?
No,
or?
he ripped some sprites, but the engine is his own, which is really cool. Bless America.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, this dude was a workhorse of a human being, if I remember right.
I forget how this story ended. I know that this was up for like a week and then it got yanked, which Nintendo had to do so to make room for their other
inferior
game
3DS version. Yeah. So yes, they did make him take it down. He complied, issued a, to his credit, like genuine letter of like, hey, I did this because I love Metroid. Go support Nintendo's efforts or whatever. But then two things happened. One, he immediately got scooped up by some indie development studio and has a successful career, so good for him. But then secondly, the fan base just picked it right back up and put it back on the internet with a whole bunch of mods to make it even better.
Oh, that's right. There's like a randomizer for this now, isn't there? Yes,
and it's actually all built into the game. So in this game, we get the... God damn it. We get the widescreen patch, we get the fusion mode, which is really cool, and we get all of the, like, speedrun niceties.
Best Metroid game in the series. Go.
Honestly, the more I play it, the more I'm in love with this one. I truly think this was just Prime Metroid, but not Metroid Prime. Sparks, of course, does a randomizer. Yeah.
Oh, neat. Good on you to remember that was there.
I just saw it on the map.
Oh, okay, yeah, it was right there. Okay.
One of the things that I truly love about this too, that any future 2D Metroids could really take a cue from, is the mini map in the top right.
Yeah.
That's just a good feature.
You say that like we're gonna get another 2D Metroid in the future.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So, what you reading, what you playing these days?
Oh my god, dude, Nick, can I just begin the stream by saying I miss us?
Well,
I know, I'm a terrible friend.
Life is busy, and I apologize. It's
no, like you said when I asked you about it, it's a two-way street, man. We both gotta make time.
Right. Yeah. And I was talking with someone a couple days ago, and we were like, so 2024 is over with, Oh my good
No,
lord, I can do
my
better than this.
resolution is...
I can do so much better than this. I'm sorry. Let me collect myself.
No, you're
It's
good, man.
been a bit of a week.
Because that's exactly what I've been thinking. My resolution for this year is to straight up make more time for the people that I care about. And that doesn't just include direct family, but also my friends, which is you. So I will harass you constantly about playing video games.
Yeah, no, and I know it's been a while. So like I said, what's new?
All right, so let me begin with you asked reading. Are you ready to hate me?
Go right ahead.
I'm reading Wind and Truth.
I kind of figured you would. So how do you like it?
You know, as much as I can identify all of Sanderson's weaknesses, and like just needless verbosity, I gotta tell you, there's something about the Stormlight Archive that always manages to entertain me, even when it's at its very worst. And I do consider the fourth one to be its very worst. I still enjoy the characters. I still enjoy the overall plot. Wind and Truth, I'm noticing, has a lot of the same weaknesses. Like, he can never commit to progressing one of the central stories because he's got so many side things going on that he's convinced lend depth, but really what they're doing is kind of getting in the way of the parts that people care about. That's still going on, but the parts, revolving essentially around Dalinar, Kaladin, they're so strong, and he made Szeth kind of the central background character for this one, and I've always really enjoyed Szeth. So I'm pretty happy with it so far.
Well, good. I'm glad you're enjoying that.
Yeah. I will not go so far as to say that it like kind of makes up for the clusterfuck of the story that he's made so far, but at the very least, like I said, I still enjoy the characters, I still enjoy what is going on, and it's an interesting enough premise that I want to see it to its conclusion. Mm-hmm. Well, this thing is obnoxious, huh?
Right. So how many hours is this tome of his?
Ooh. If I remember the audio
Are you reading
books
it, or are you
right,
listening
they were
to an
all
audio
in the like
book?
40 to 50 range.
I
believe
this one's probably like, what,
if I
60?
saw correctly on Amazon, or sorry, not Amazon. Well, yes, Amazon, but Audible. I believe this one clocks in like around 50 to 60.
Okay, that sounds about right for what I expect from him.
Yeah, so I mean, he promised like more of what he was doing, and by all accounts, he seems to have delivered on that. Let me see here. What am I doing? We're in the tower. All right, I think I see my exit. Sparks writes, "Hey, don't worry, I don't watch you guys for being perfect at games." Thank you, Sparks. I'm glad that our single viewer understands that I'm not here to impress anybody.
I sometimes pop into yours and Max's streams on occasion. I just don't say anything. I'm kind of ghosting in there. So
watches in silence and.
It's like if I need something in the background, I read a lot. Last year oh lord, okay.
You read like 40, 50 some books or something like that?
I wanted to read 70, I miscounted, and I ended up reading 69. So
damn, son.
Yeah, I really didn't want to end on that
20
number,
something,
but,
if that.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: is like I've become very defensive about my free time these days. So like I'm very particular about what I spend my time on. So I've had a couple series that I've been really wanting to make headway on. So
yeah,
reading was a big priority for me. I don't really haven't gamed much at all back in 2024, unless it was like multiplayer social stuff.
Okay.
I don't think, aside from like Yakuza, I played anything single player.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. Like the older I get, it's just kind of like, I don't know. Like most of the stuff that's out there is stuff that I've seen already.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like I don't have time to play like, oh, it's like Super Metroid. Well, I've played that game. What else have you got? You know. This is a neat boss, by the way. I always liked this one.
You know, one of the things that I think was coolest about this game were the boss fights that he added.
Yeah, well, I mean, the original Metroid 2 was hardly a game. Right?
No, I mean,
it wasn't fun and it wasn't good.
No, it
was
wasn't.
something
But
to sell the Game Boy.
It did, however, I will say, to the original's credit, it gave us a lot of the kind of series staples that are still in use to this day, and honestly have since become staples of a lot of Metroidvania games. So good for them for pioneering back when Nintendo still pioneered.
What did?
Nintendo.
No. Like what pioneered what now? This
Oh,
game?
sorry. So the original Metroid 2 gave us a lot of functionality and things that we take for granted in modern, not only Metroids, but in Metroidvanias at large.
Wait. I'm sorry. Metroid 2? What?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did we play the
Metroid
same
2
game?
was the first...
What was good about it? What was good about it?
Oh, nothing was good about it. I'm just saying
Okay.
the ideas that it had, even as poorly implemented as they were...
What ideas were they? I know I'm sounding like my taciturn self, but I'm like, I legitimately want to understand this argument.
Yeah, no, so it was... Oh, shit. I hate this part. Hold on a sec. It was the first, I believe, to give an actual in-game map. It included save points, which was kind of a big deal, especially for a Game Boy game. I'm trying to think of what else.
Okay, yeah,
it included. Hold on.
I was unaware that those were a series first for that game. I mean,
was it also the first to do the in-game map?
Well, I mean,
Or was that Super Metroid?
All those things that you just mentioned were already in the first Zelda game, but it was the first time they were in a Metroid game.
Right.
So I wouldn't say it exactly innovated that, but it was the first time they were in a Metroid game. Now that I think on it.
Yeah, and certainly.
Because there was nothing to Metroid 2. It was just here's a script. Well, here's another version of Metroid from the NES, put a map and go kill 40 things, and absolutely nothing interesting will happen.
Yeah, that's true. It could get
Like, nothing
super
happened that
repetitive
whole
with
game.
the Metroids
Yeah.
being the only bosses, and within those bosses, you only get, like, what, 4 varieties of them?
Yeah, it was like 4 or 3. I don't know, 4 if you count the Queen. Did we even get super missiles in that game? No, I don't think so.
No, the super missiles are an addition to AM2R, and a darn good
Well,
one.
I mean, I don't necessarily consider this like a remake of Metroid 2, because there's like nothing in here resembling anything close to the original one, right?
No, it definitely does.
Like they
its
share
own.
the same name, that's it. I mean, it didn't have different zones. It didn't have any enemies outside of the Metroids.
Sorry, the original?
Yeah.
No, the Metroids. Well, I mean, it did have like little critters, just like basic
Yeah.
enemies. I'm gonna die. Shit. Why am I not remembering how to hit the center core?
It's a lot going on, and the platforms keep shifting, so...
Yeah. Oh God! Wow! What a catastrophe!
Oh, no!
Whoa!
There's a
what
reason
a
why
mess.
we're not playing Order of Ecclesia tonight.
Oh, you're making your way through order now?
No, I finished it all.
You did.
You mentioned wanting to play a Dominus game, and I was thinking like, okay, well, 1, I hate Dawn of Souls. 2, Ecclesia is very difficult, so if we play anything on this channel, it'll be Portrait of Ruin.
Yeah, I do remember on the original DS, Ecclesia being the most challenging of the bunch.
Yeah, it was probably the most challenging out of all the ones of the Castlevania series that weren't like
The
any of them that
originals.
were exploration based. Yeah,
Yeah.
1 and 3 were brutal, but
Speaking of which, did I send you, or you probably heard about it individually of me, the original Castlevania fan remake?
I mean, there's been so many fan remakes and hacks of that. I'm not sure which one you're talking about.
Castlevania revamped.
No, what makes this one special?
It's just a, well, I mean, it kind of like the way that this is a technical remake of Metroid 2. It is a technical remake of the first Castlevania, but built on, yes, revamped. That's exactly right, Sparks. Built on the bones, though, of Symphony of the Night. So like, you get upgrades for Simon. He can do all kinds of new maneuverability things. What else?
Okay, I'm looking up at it.
I have it downloaded on my computer, but I have not played it yet because I really wanted to play it with you in particular, because it seems like something that, even if it's just a few hours, that we might really get a kick out of.
Yeah, this is neat looking. That's cool.
All right. Now that I know where I'm going, hopefully this will be a little faster. And I went the wrong way. Sparks, I love a good pun name. Yeah.
So anyways, what else go on, please.
No, I'm good. I was just going to say, going back to your original question as to kind of like what made the original Game Boy one even remotely good, which, again, it truly was not a good game.
Neither was Metroid 1, by the way. I just like to throw that
Metroid
out there.
1 was not fun.
I don't know how this series like took off the way it did.
Like how it got a third entry and ended up being one of the greatest games of all time. I know.
And thank goodness they kept at it.
Right,
but...
yeah, because again, it's like there was nothing distinguishing about the second one except for the baby steps which allowed Metroid to be such a good series in the end. Drinky. But yeah. This game, however, not just a great fan game in my estimation, but probably one of the greatest games I've ever played. Like, I just love this to death. And it's not just that it modernizes an old game, but it feels like a love letter to everything that people loved about Metroid in general, and just cranked all of those wonderful elements about the series up to 11.
This is like one of those lightning in a bottle kind of games where one person has one vision and they execute it really well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of that. One of the reasons, like, I just not interested in playing a lot of stuff these days is that everything kind of feels like, I don't know, how's the way I want to put this? Nothing really feels interesting or particularly innovative. Like, everything kind of feels like a bit of a compromise between everyone else working on it. It's like nothing is ever anyone's vision. Everything is just kind of like the lowest common denominator of like what people want to make on a project. Does that make any sense?
It does, and I think you see a lot of like lowest common denominator games these days.
There's a lot of Metroidvanias, if you will, like just they're a dime a dozen on Steam, quite literally almost, because they're easy to make. Everybody thinks that like, oh, I've got Unreal Engine, I can make Super Metroid.
Mm-hmm.
I liked this game as a kid, but
and you look at what like is dominating the charts right now. Like one of everyone's favorite games from last year was Black Myth Wukong, and even aside from me like being rubbish at Souls games, like I couldn't escape the feeling like that game had already been done so many times before and better, you know?
Well, yeah, that's the thing, right? It's just more Dark Souls. We had Elden Ring like the year before that, and now we've got Wukong. Because there's just a big fan base out there that likes that, right? Like, they fill up the trough and everybody comes and eats.
Yep.
And it's just, like I said, I had no interest in it because I've already played that. It was Elden Ring. I sunk 100 hours into it, and it's like, alright, I think I've seen everything that this genre has to offer.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing a lot better this time, by the way.
I still can't seem to hit the core.
I think you need to strip everything away from it first.
Yeah, I think you are correct. But let's keep pulling these missiles out and... Oh, fuck.
Yeah, they seem very adamant about giving you missile drops, so...
Mm-hmm. Take the hint, Chris. There we go.
Quite a few missiles, in fact.
That's a lot. Jesus, that's a lot of missiles. Oh, I hate the homing ones.
Okay, so it looks like you've got all the shields stripped off, so now we just gotta go after the cannons. Do these regenerate?
They do. Now,
Okay.
am I supposed to shoot
when?
into the spots where the cannons once were to get to it?
I guess keep this... Oh, there you go, you're doing...
With the beam.
Wait.
Okay.
Okay.
Chris.
Oh, the shields were like supposed to filter out energy blast or something. I see.
I got you now. Oh,
So that's why you had to
no.
use concussive hits. Boy, they really want a lot from you with this boss.
Probably not having played it in a year isn't serving me well either.
Yeah, the biggest problem here is you just can't get some footing that, down.
Yeah. We're gonna be okay, though. At least we figured out how to damage him.
This is like a Star Tropics reactor for a moment, where like, if you don't do enough damage to him quick enough, it seems to repair or something.
Makes you pay. There we go.
Oh, alright. Cool. Well, he's dead now.
Sweet.
So
A little
here's
embarrassing,
a
but
little
not
bit
too bad.
one small thing I did do recently. Oh, you know what? They got the little guys with the shields going around. That was probably a bit of a tell that prepped you for the boss, right?
You are absolutely right.
Yeah, that's really good gameplay design.
And you know, again, Dr. M, what great game design just permeates this whole experience?
No, he clearly understood, like, kind of like going back to the other conversation we're having. Like, a lot of people try to copy, like, Super Metroid in the formula, but they don't understand it is the problem.
Right.
They get the shadow of it, but not the substance. And that's
You are
why this game is so
100% right
great,
on
because
that.
yeah, and that's why for every 19 of these that are made, maybe one of them are good.
Mm-hmm. Did I remember right? Did you and your sister get some enjoyment out of oh shoot, they're so dime a dozen. I forget their names. The one with the girl and like the endless variety of weapons.
Boy, oh boy, I'm gonna need just a.
Chris,
I'm gonna need to buy one more hint here.
Oh shoot, I'll remember it like
The
10 minutes
girl
after
with the
streaming.
weapons.
Say that again.
The girl with the weapons. What?
Silver hair, annoying anime sidekick. Wow, this is every game ever, isn't it? Shoot, what was it called?
Near Automata?
No. It was a side-scrolling. Oh, thank God. Here we go. Side-scrolling Metroid-style game.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
On
It's,
Steam, I gifted it to you.
I thought I had it. I thought you were talking about Daedalus and the Wonder Labyrinth.
No.
No, you're talking about. I know, like.
Right? There's so many. Like, this is exactly the point you were making.
Yeah, we're gonna find out what this is real quick here. I'm gonna look at.
You're
my
gonna open your
list.
Steam library.
It starts with an A. I know that.
Mhm.
After Image.
After Image. And what a generic name. But it was a surprisingly good game.
Yeah, it was a neat game. But again, it was like I was gonna play that. I meant to play that for the longest time, but I did play Wonder Labyrinth like I was talking about, and again, it was just like another Metroidvania.
Sure.
So
that game got a lot of mileage for me just on the quality of its sprite work, but
another
you know,
Chinese game, by the way.
Say that again?
Another Chinese game, by the way.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Occasionally, some of those games are good.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah. So what drew me to it originally was just kind of the nifty sprite work.
And that was what my alarm bells were, because everyone talked about how good it looked and how good the sprites were. As like, is this a game where I'm going to see like 5 sprites and then they're going to do a bunch of palette swaps?
Right.
Yeah, and then it was kind of that.
Yeah,
what I
definitely some
understand.
palette swap action, but
This is very pretty, but then we do nothing with it.
right. But anyways, I ended up being rewarded with a actual kind of fun experience.
Go on.
Yeah, I mean that's it. I mean, like,
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about a specific one.
no. It did not revolutionize anything for me in the Metroidvania formula, but it served as a good example that if, a developer tries a little, it's still a very fun genre. It's just so oversaturated. It's almost hard to care anymore when a new one is released.
You might like a game called Ender Lilies.
Oh, I think I've heard of that, actually. I might even have it in my Steam library and haven't gotten around to playing it yet.
It's on your wish list, apparently.
On my wish list. Okay, thank you. What's the... Oh, shit. What's the, hook, line, and sinker of that one?
It is a Metroidvania.
No way.
That's all there is to it. Okay, I'm being a little cynical. It's a Metroidvania, but the soundtrack is very, very good, and it's got an excellent art style. The combat will put you to sleep.
Oh, okay.
It's just, let's just throw a bunch of enemies at you with no real sense of progression, but also the bosses are kind of fun. So.
I'm a grown man. Sometimes all I need is just a solid art direction and soundtrack to be entertained.
I got my $20 worth, so I mean.
And to this day, the other astounding thing about this game is that no one has even tried to turn a profit on it.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things where it wasn't made for a profit, it was made for love of the medium.
Right, yeah. And, don't get me wrong, I think it's nice when
How many energy tanks did he take off with that?
Jesus
you are gonna die.
I'm gonna die on this guy.
No, there's no going back. There ain't no going back.
Get rid of the acid. We're gonna cheese him. I'll be damned if I'm dying here.
Oh, they don't want you to have super missiles, do they? Okay, well good. That little ledge there's working in your favor.
It is. That's the only way I'm beating this guy.
Don't use more missiles than you need to.
He's got to be close to dead. I've hit him with 2 super missiles in addition to everything else. Good God. There's absolutely no shame in cheesing it against something that creepy. Yeah. I feel a little shame.
It looks like you're able to get about 2 hits each time when he turns around.
Yeah.
Because you will run out of missiles at some point.
There we go.
Okay, alright.
Wow, that was bad.
One thing that I did do game-wise this year myself was I did play through the Metroid Legend of Zelda randomizer again, just because.
Oh, nice.
I do enjoy both those games, and it's nice when I can knock both of them out concurrently.
Yeah, and it's funny because no matter how many new games come out that I'm really excited about, without fail, I will always, drop everything when I get in the mood for Super Metroid or Link to the Past or FF4. It's amazing how predictable I am.
It's a nice way to get the comfort of a game that you love and enjoy, but have something different going on. Because I can't play those games by themselves because it's like I've done it already. I have a lot of trouble replaying old games.
Oh really? I'm the exact opposite. I overplay my old games
again,
to the point where
like
I have trouble getting into new things.
Yeah.
You remember how ridiculously long it took me to finally pick up and love Like a Dragon?
Mm-hmm.
That was shameful.
The little point. Oh, another one of these. Okay, well, there's
at
only
least
4
this one's
left.
a.
Yeah, but he's annoying. one of the things I like about these Metroids is that they've all got a very interesting terrain build out.
Yes, they do some really cool things with the map that, granted, weren't possible on the original Game Boy. But still, fun ideas.
Really quick. Yeah, well, because you can have the same enemy in the same fight, but change up the arena, and it's something different. So.
That was a really clever way in this in this version of the game of doing that, which, by the way, Nintendo in their own 3DS version didn't do. Like, you just fought the same Metroid like 20 times in that game without the environment being substantially different.
Oh, I believe it. Anyways, the whole point to my little story there was I got a particularly difficult seed that I was working through. Ended up, like, I got hard locked and couldn't progress until I got a specific item on top of, yeah, because I literally grabbed every other item it was physically possible to get, and it turned out I needed that heart piece that was on top of Death Mountain with that you get with...
Oh, for real?
Going into the Dark World the first time. Whole point of that is that I got locked out of all progression unless I fought Fantoon very, very, very early.
Yeah.
So I had to beat him with 5 energy tanks, no suit upgrades.
Ooh.
Boy, oh boy.
I've seen, like, Fantoon end the playthroughs of, like, professional speedrunners in that game.
Yeah, he's a problem, but there's a trick to it. And I never knew this until I was trying to come up with a way around the problems with that fight. If you beat this Metroid creature here, I will tell you what it is.
All right. I intend to.
If you eat all of your vegetables, I will give you dessert.
All right. What's the trick?
Okay. So, what would you say is the biggest problem in the Fantoon battle?
Probably the flames that he shoots out in, like, the X pattern.
Okay, so I have a superpower, Chris, and it is pattern recognition.
Okay.
I'm very good at looking at a situation and picking up on patterns and interpreting them. That whole phase of the battle is entirely avoidable.
Really?
If you do the battle a certain way, he will never do that attack. So, as it turns out, he has an enrage trigger. Anytime you hit him with a super missile, that's his, like, rage burst.
Oh, interesting.
So if you just hit him with charge shots and missiles, and I had no charge shots, and I had about 60 missiles, if you just hit him with missiles throughout that fight, he will never use his enrage counter.
No kidding.
So it didn't make it easy, but it made it winnable.
Oh yeah, definitely probably made it more bearable than...
It was a close thing. I think I had 2 hits to go, because he still hits like a truck.
Yeah, he does.
But yeah, so at the very least, I didn't have to deal with that attack.
Right. Which is kind of funny, because overall, I don't think I would classify Super Metroid as a difficult game, but no. There's like spikes in it where occasionally they'll just take you for a ride.
Things are very much locked to item-based progression in that game. You're expected to be able to take on challenges based on what items you have in your inventory. And if you don't have enough, you can go grind for more. But by the very nature of the randomizer, it throws all that out of the way.
Uh-huh. Alright, what do we got here? I'm gonna guess, yep, another big boy.
You say we're halfway through this game, yet I see 2 Metroids left on this planet.
That's just for this section.
Okay, alright. Yeah, I'm thinking of the Game Boy version where it's like, I don't know, there's like 40 on the whole planet, go kill them or whatever. I don't know, I got your $30.
Okay, we're getting them down a little bit now.
Chris, what's your opinion on anchovies on pizza?
I never liked anchovies. I feel like it's something that I should. I feel like it's kind of one of those rite of passage foods. Mm-hmm. I don't like ultra salty fish.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Something's gonna happen. Well, yeah, he's gonna die. That's what's gonna happen.
No, I
Wait,
just
no,
took
no.
my time and actually got the pattern that time.
What's going on in that room? Is there like, can you break those floors?
No, interestingly enough, in all of the Metroid rooms in this game, save maybe one, they don't have breakable walls.
Oh, okay, that was odd. Yeah. Anyways, the whole point of that was I wanted to treat myself to something today for my busy week, and I got an anchovy pizza, and I realized I am the only one in the world who seems to actually, unironically, like anchovies on pizza.
Good for you. That's awesome. I would never shame anyone for their culinary delights.
No, it's my once-a-week treat. I'm trying to watch my diet and exercise and all that good stuff.
Always a good thing.
I've come to accept that I just have a body that will never like degrade or improve in any capacity. So
you were born 35, and 35 you will remain.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like I'm always plus or minus 5 pounds in my range, along with plus 5% muscle mass. Like I can never get above those plateaus.
Really? Because I'm currently plus 30 in my weight range and trying to desperately get that down.
No, I don't know. I'm pretty granola about how do you do this? That's neat.
This game also had some clever speed boost
Very good
challenges.
puzzles with this, yeah. It kind of improved upon the puzzles that were hinted at with Super Metroid, but they never quite leaned into.
Yeah. I remember Fusion on the GBA doing some good. Okay, that's actually not a terrible one. Some
Fusion
pretty
was
good.
decent. Its
speed
only
boost.
drawback was that it was Fusion. Oh,
Hey, we got a
okay, yeah,
single
that's
missile
right.
tank.
You can hold those charges. I forgot.
Correct. Yeah. As soon as you hit the down button, you have a short window to.
Use the shine spark, I
Yep.
think, as they call it.
Correct. Actually, though, since we're here. Okay. Just making sure there was nothing in that roof. Alright. Did we... It claims there's still a Metroid. The question is where?
You saying it's fake news?
Nope, I see it. I see it. Anyway, so yeah, let me ask you this. Is there a certain maker or kind of anchovy you would recommend for someone who would like to appreciate what all the fuss is about, but has not tried a good one yet?
I am by no means a prophet of anchovies. This is very much a me thing.
Okay.
Everyone has their own taste predilection. I happen to really like the umami flavor of anchovies. It's one of those things like you don't need the expensive ones, but also don't get the cheap ones. Get something middle of the line. Get it from a canister where they are suspended in oil.
Yep.
And I mean, you either like them or you don't.
Right.
It's like Marmot, you know.
Yeah. Side note, I forgot to acknowledge this earlier, but Sparks writes, your pattern recognition, Nick, is what made humanity an apex predator, so good for you.
I think what made us apex predators is our ability to formulate memories.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something cheesy like it's the ability to love.
No, do you see any love going on currently? Okay, now...
No, I do not. Especially not tomorrow.
Okay, we're all pretty smart people here. And we don't have to talk about this, but I'm legitimately curious, and no one on the internet seems to want to explain this. So as you've seen, incoming President Trump has like minted his own like meme coin, like Trump coin, and it's got a $15 billion market cap evaluation.
Uh-huh.
Do you understand how any of this works?
No, not even remotely, except that he's buddies with Elon Musk and is now actually has all of the money that he's always bragged about. It's just it's in another person's bank account.
No, I mean, I understand the whole scammy nature of it, but I'm trying to figure out, like, because I understand how cryptocurrencies work, right? Like,
Yeah.
you can say Dogecoin is like $20 billion of valuation, but that requires you to convert it to Tether or Ethereum, and those are always pegged to current foreign currency rates. So in reality, like, you can say it's worth a $15 billion, but
Ruples.
it takes tons of that currency to convert it to like a dollar.
Yeah, right.
I don't understand how that. Did you see what I'm saying? Like, okay, so it's $15 billion. How do you get money out of that?
You know, if I knew, I might actually try to do it just to, have the retirement I've always wanted and make sure my kids never want for anything, but I don't understand it. And I think you have to have kind of a morally dubious character to be able to profit off it in the first place.
Here's the problem though, is like nobody's making money off this stuff. Like Trump doesn't get $15 billion aside from like book value on it.
Well, if he wants $15 billion, Elon's going to get him $15 billion.
Well, Elon also probably doesn't have it because most of it's book value, but...
Nick, you want to get us kicked off Twitch?
Oh...
I'm joking, guys. I love
you. There's a really good article I was reading in The Guardian that said something along the lines of, I loved the title, it was, I always knew that rich madmen would destroy the world one day, I just didn't think they'd be such losers.
Right? You thought
between
they'd be
the
like
holy
Bond villains?
trifecta of like Elon Musk, Trump, and like Mark Zuckerberg, like could you pick like 3 more socially awkward just
dweebs?
Dweebs, like
I say this as a dweeb,
it's beyond, it's beneath contempt. It's like, this is just pathetic.
Yeah. Well, it's apparently what we as a nation desperately want.
I can't even get upset by it, but
yeah.
I don't. The whole point of that was just I don't understand it, because cryptocurrencies only work when someone is buying it, but nobody uses it as a currency.
Right. I've made no secrets of how much I hate Trump on this channel, but I will say, credit where credit is due. He won that election, and he won it fair and square.
Yeah, and it's it's you can't even say that Kamala Harris lost the election. Trump clearly.
No, we voted for his ideals,
and it's going to be a fun time watching the Democrats try to recover from this.
Oh, I'm not under any illusions that they'll ever recover. The party is so clueless to like how to engage human beings that we deserve what we get at this point. Like that, we took what should have been the most winnable election in history, and we let it escape like a fart in the wind. Like I am over my party.
It was, I really did think the election, because I was a poll worker, and I was fully prepared for it to, I was very sure that Trump was going to win, but I had a feeling that it was going to be about like a week-long thing because it was going to be so close. And I remember waking up on Wednesday morning, and it was
like, not close at all, yeah.
In one of like the biggest, one of the biggest landslides in every sense of the word.
Yeah, it was the first time a Republican
Nixon.
Yeah. Won the popular vote in a very long time.
I believe it was the 1980s was the last time a Republican won the popular vote and the electoral vote.
That's wild.
So,
shoot, what was I gonna say to add on to that? It doesn't matter. Oh, no, it was, I just started to get a bad feeling in my gut. Like, it's nothing that I can explain. I'm not like an empath or a psychic or anything chintzy like that. It's just, I started to get like really strong 2016 vibes. Like, essentially every time the Democratic Party starts to get like full of itself and think, yeah, we got this in the bag. We're on the clear right side of history, and the people are behind us, and we should have optimism. Never does that ever end well.
No, it was a little... Oh, okay. Neat. What a neat game this is. Would they have let you out of that room if you didn't use the power bomb?
No.
Okay, alright, cool.
Like, you have to go through the sequence here.
Solid game design. Okay.
Yes. This is actually one of the cooler, like, set pieces of this game, which, bearing in mind that the original had no set pieces, this is really neat that they did this. Because
Well, they wanted you to have an escape section, but
yeah, and the end of the game is the only one that does not have an escape section, so they put it right smack dab in the middle, which is super cool of them.
This thing's neat. What is this thing?
Whatever it is, it's dying.
How excited are you for Metroid Prime 4?
I'm actually very excited. I'm tempering my optimism, but I'm super excited for it. It's a game that I have wanted to play for so long. And I honestly was kind of underwhelmed by the Switch 2 announcement, but at the same time, you know, if it's gonna give us Metroid Prime 4, then bring it on.
What disappointed you about the Switch 2 announcement?
Oh, nothing disappointed me about it. It's just like I'm sitting 5 feet away from a Steam Deck, which can do everything that it can and more. It's more like just Nintendo being Nintendo. I'm sure it will be successful. I don't think it's gonna like light the world on fire like the original Switch did, but
Who promised that it would light the world on fire? Because like I know a lot of
Nintendo.
people have said they were disappointed by the Switch 2 announcement, and I was just kind of like, what was everyone expecting? They were going to make the screen bigger, and it was going to be more like the Steam Deck. I mean,
yeah, you raise a good point there. I mean, I don't know what I was expecting, because usually when Nintendo innovates on the heels of a really big success like the Switch, like for instance the Wii is the most recognizable example. You get the Wii U, which tanked because of how different and yet how underwhelming it was. So I think they're doing the smartest thing they could do with the Switch. It's just okay. Let me put it this way. Maybe my disappointment is less with Nintendo and more with just how saturated the handheld market is right now.
Because everyone is chasing the Steam Deck currently.
Correct.
Everyone is trying to make their own Steam Deck, just like everyone
Which is
tried to make
interesting,
their own
really
Game
the Steam
Boy.
Deck wouldn't be what it is had the Switch not come before it. Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it. I'll certainly buy it and probably buy a separate one for my kids so they don't screw up my saves.
We are getting hot here.
It's rubber bands like in Mario Kart.
That's lame. That's dumb. The illusion of stakes. That's fine, I guess.
Okay. I think this is about it.
Yeah, nice to have some power bombs there.
Yeah, I know. I think I should have saved one for that section, but that's okay. We made it. Yeah, see, now it goes all the way up to 99%. It's like, oh god! This is pretty cool, though.
It's a memorable little,
Oh, Samus!
I don't remember this.
She's like, fuck!
Oh, does it just like wreck your day? It
Yeah.
doesn't like make you lose your powers? Oh, that's cool. I like
Yeah, it
that.
just puts you right into critical.
Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah.
And then you gotta just kind of be careful about weaseling your way up to the save point.
And they got that one little guy there.
Yep. Like, he could absolutely fuck you up if you're not paying attention. Sparks, ouch. Ouch is right. Now, the question is... Oh, no, it's not a question. We got the power bomb. That's what that did. So we can get 2 items here, and then we can make our way to the next section. I do find I mean, if there is a quote-unquote boring segment of this game, I would say it's what we just went through. The tower isn't super engaging compared to the rest of this. And it's kind of like standing in the way of all of like the end game upgrades that we love, like the screw attack and the gravity suit.
Okay, I see.
It's kind of like
Can you
paying
open
your
that
dues
yellow
before you
door
get to all
with
the really
power
cool
bombs?
stuff in Metroid. Sorry, go on.
Can you open up that yellow door with power bombs down there?
Oh, you're right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good catch.
I can't see myself buying a Switch 2, seeing as how I bought myself a Steam Deck and then used it like twice. So.
You know, whenever I have this conversation with Max, I always bitch about how much I hate console exclusivity in the age of the gaming PC becoming more mainstream. Because there's really, like, it doesn't serve the fan base. It actually kind of operates counter to how the companies would like it to, in that it doesn't really give them a long-term profit gain. It gives them a short burst of people who will buy it for them because they have to play it now, right? The long-term gains come from the PC versions and the multi-console ports of the game, which allow more people to experience it and consequently more people to buy it, right? So I think Nintendo and every major gaming company would do best to, have, their home console, but then also release it on PC the way that Sony and Microsoft are currently starting to do. But Nintendo's never going to do that. I'm under no delusions.
Yeah, and that's fine. We'll just continue to obtain those other ways.
Well, you are right. I will always buy Nintendo hardware to play Nintendo games because there's 2 or 3 properties they own that I just love, Metroid being one of them.
Yeah, and I joke about that, but I only go that route of acquiring it through other means if I legitimately cannot get my hands on a legal copy of it. Square Enix, by the way, I think is also putting all their library on Steam now.
They are, and credit to them for doing something pro-consumer for a change.
Well, it's not pro-consumer as much as like they saw.
There was money to be made. Absolutely.
What game forced their hand? I think it was
Afterimage.
No.
Or no, not Afterimage. The Sorceress
Sony
game, right?
Final Fantasy remake, the second of 3, whatever the hell that game was called.
Oh, really? I was thinking the one that came out last year that they thought was going to be like a major new IP and it kind of tanked.
Oh, no, you're thinking of Forspoken.
Yeah, so they were saying this is going to be a PS5
play
exclusive, and then they immediately changed their tune when they saw how bad it was.
No, Final Fantasy After... God, what is this
After
stupid
Years
game called?
Is the only After I can think of.
No, the new Final Fantasy remake in the trilogy. It's like the second entry. Afterbirth, what is it? Rebirth, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Oh, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, thank you, yeah.
Yeah, it sold a bunch of copies and made like $100 million, and Square Enix was like, well...
It's not enough.
It's not enough. It's a financial failure, so we gotta put our whole library on Steam.
Yep.
And then I think like they put like Kingdom Hearts and a bunch of other stuff on there, which is great. I'm glad it finally moved it to that.
Yeah.
The fact that Final Fantasy VII... whatever, didn't make enough money is more...
Just stupid, yeah.
Well, no, it's a thing like, that speaks more to the problems of the game industry as a whole. It's like, I don't know, are you familiar with, like, Arcane on Netflix?
No, actually.
They spent, like, they had, like, a $250 million budget for that series, and I don't know, like, everybody was, like, raving about it for a while. And it was like, well, people didn't receive the 3rd season very well, but we only had so much money to work with. I'm like, you had $250 million. How much money did you need?
Sparks writes it's apparently pretty good.
It's fine. I saw like 2 episodes. I didn't understand it was...
Well, so I've got to be the tiebreaker between you two, then. I've got to watch it. And...
It was probably fine, but I was just like, I've seen this before. It's what... Okay, here's the thing. Like, you can have that for $250 million, but look at frickin' Midnight Mass on a budget of like $10 million, and look how incredible that was.
I was going to say, I'm never not going to hear about Midnight Mass from you, and rightfully so. That was a wonderful
it's a good
series.
example, because like a lot of the stuff I tend to like is like, okay, if you have a smaller budget, you have to be very conscious about where you're spending all your money.
Right? It's the reason Godzilla -1 was so good.
Yeah, there's a more recent example. Yeah.
She knows nothing about League of Legends, but adores Arcane. Interesting. Because that's kind of the thing for me, is like, would I even appreciate something in a series that that I have no personal connection to? Like I love the Cyberpunk anime, for instance, but I also love the Cyberpunk game, so I figured it was, for me.
Yeah, it's kind of one of these things like every IP needs to branch out into everything. Like you just can't have a game; it also has to be a series, and it has to be a movie, and it has to be a Netflix series, and it has to be a book. And
I will say, in the instance of Cyberpunk, not only was it already an existing universe, but it was a universe that was so interesting that I think it at least warranted branching out into multiple mediums because, you know, it had been around literally since the early days of D&D. But yeah, like the video game definitely gave it its own unique visual flair that the anime capitalized on, and I actually feel like did better than the game itself.
That kind of helped, if I remember correctly, revive interest in the game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, because it came out kind of in conjunction with the release of their DLC, which the story of which was actually stronger than the main game. It was kind of a Witcher 3 sort of scenario where I thought that, whatchamacallit, not Blood and Wine, but the first one.
Suddenly it's
Hearts
a
of Stone.
Tuhu game. Yeah, Hearts of Stone.
Yeah. Hearts of Stone I thought was a stronger, like, contained story than the actual original, and I feel like the Phantom Liberty story in that game was just superbly done.
Yeah, Cyberpunk was a bit of a rough start, a lot like No Man's Sky. It wasn't great on release, but it got there. You just had to give it time.
Right, but I was one of those weird people, too, who actually played through it back in 2020, on the PC version, not the console, obviously. And I actually had a lot of fun with it back then. But I will say that the 2.0 release took it from a great game that I'll fondly remember to something that I'll still, like, even though I've played it into the ground, still boot up when I'm bored. It's just a wonderful game. Yeah, son of a bitch. I didn't evade one of those, Nick. Not a single damn one.
Yeah, no, you took them all to the face to prove a point, that you can take the punch. I get it.
That's exactly right. Look how strong I am.
I've got 7 more energy tanks here. Try to deplete them all.
Right.
God
bless this game for giving me the plasma beam early.
Did you ever read William Gibson's The Neuromancer?
Oh, yes. I think we've talked a little bit about it, but not in depth. I love that book so much.
No, that was one of those incredible books that was way, way, way ahead of its time.
Wasn't that your online tag for a while, Wintermute?
It still is, yeah. Wintermute Vox Machina.
Okay.
Oh, man, the plot to that book was just so amazing. And it was short, too.
It was short.
Nice.
I love authors that can give you a thought-provoking, engaging, complete story without
quickly
Brandon Sanderson, without talking your ear off about every little nook and cranny of the universe, because they feel like they can't justify their plot otherwise.
I think it's also just an inability to restrain oneself.
I think after, 1,000 pages, it becomes self-gratification, right?
Precisely. There's Sanderson has in his books about 8 hours of good material that he stretches for 50, and I don't know. I think it's just one of those things where, like, people think longer is better, and I don't know. If you have that kind of time, great. I don't.
No, I understand. And I don't mind a really long book, but it has to justify the length, which is really hard to do.
On that note, real quick, I want to ask: did you start reading Dresden yet, out of curiosity?
The 2 that you got me for Christmas?
I
have not yet, but they are on my short list.
Yeah. Don't worry about that. I was just curious. I'm getting very close to the end of that series, so.
Oh, that's right. Neat. So how many books is the series, actually?
Well, currently it's 17, but the author, Jim Butcher, says, it's going to end up being 27 with a trilogy to round it out, so it'll be 30 books. I'm like, you've written 2 books in 8 years. This ain't going to happen.
Yeah, unless you're going to live to be 107.
Yeah, so it's just like, I feel like I've eaten my fill at this point. If this is where it ends, I'm fine. I've seen everything I need to see here.
Right. Yeah, I understand that. Like, there's nothing more frustrating than when a series that I truly love starts to overstay its welcome. Which is kind of where I am with Stormlight Archive. But like I said, there's still enough that I want to see wrap up that I'm at least enjoying what we got. But my expectations were admittedly kind of low coming in.
Yeah.
Hey, look what we have here.
Guy.
Look at Chuckle Nuts here.
Look at this. What is this design? Is this like? Wasn't there like a Predator that looked like that or something?
I think they're. Whoa, shit. Damn. Oh, shit. They're definitely based more on the xenomorphs, I would say.
That's what I meant. The xenomorphs from Aliens.
Yeah.
It looks nothing like a Predator, Nicholas.
That's all right. I knew what you meant. By the way, over Christmas break, did we have a brief chat? Are you also a fan of the original Alien movie?
The original Alien? You know, it's funny you say that because with the group of folks, I watched Alien, and I was very confused when I watched it because I thought it was Aliens. I had no idea there were two
the second
movies.
one, yeah.
Yeah, so Aliens was actually the movie we wanted, and we sat there waiting for like Bishop and
Oh yeah, okay.
all and Newt and all the other stuff, and it never happened. And we're like, did we watch the wrong movie? No, it's Alien.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's not very good, especially compared to Aliens.
Really? I love it. I'm of the mind that is one of my favorite styles of sci-fi. Just like the slow burn, claustrophobic. Yeah, I mean, it was definitely built upon, but it's one of those ones where like I have a soft spot for the original, and the story and imagery of it is just so iconic to me. I can watch it a lot and not get bored.
I get that, and I think part of the problem for me was, like I said, expectation management. I thought it was a completely different movie because who makes the sequel a plural follow-up in the title?
Yeah, that is true.
So I was like waiting for other things to happen. I'm like, oh, this is cool, but when do we get into like, take this, you bitch, whatever that's not what she says, but it's similar.
The moment that made the original Alien jump out as one of my favorite films of all time to me is not the scene that everyone thinks of when they think of that movie, which is John Hurt's chest bursting open, but it's the vent sequence.
Yeah, that one was pretty good.
Yeah, where they're talking the guy through the vent, and it has probably one of the first really major and impactful jump scares in cinema history. Like, don't get me wrong, jump scares are one of the easiest, most cliche and overused forms of emotional value in a film today, but there's still credit to be given for the film that did it first and did it well, which is what I think made that scene in Alien so good, is that you were expecting it to go on a little longer and for him to maybe like see the creature and there be like a protracted like chase sequence where he's crawling through the vents trying to get away from it. No, it just jumps out and kills him, and you do not see it coming, despite like them telling him, oh god, it's close to you, get out of there. It just happens, and it's like it kind of in that context made you feel like the stakes were real, because here was one of the characters that you probably were up until that point expecting to survive, and he just doesn't. He's gone in the flash of an instant.
Yeah,
I thought that was really well done, especially since it was kind of before the era where a lot of movies were doing that, because he was up until that point kind of the leading man, and the leading man is the one who's got to survive.
Well,
right?
we did see that happen with Psycho, if I'm not mistaken, by Alfred Hitchcock.
Yes, actually. Now that you mention that, you were correct. I'm not saying that Alien like completely innovated it, but not a lot of films were doing it that way at the time.
I guess when I think of like the main character fake outs, that's kind of my go-to. But,
yeah, and in fact,
what you're saying is all valid.
Yeah, for like the first, I don't know, quarter of the movie, Ripley is almost a non-entity. She's just there as kind of like the nagging voice of reason.
I completely forgot about this section.
Am I doing this right or wrong?
I have completely forgot about this section.
Whoops.
Can you just...
Well, we'll come back to it if we need it.
Maybe there's no point to that. I don't know.
That would suck. If I wasted all that time trying to get it out. You know what? I bet it is. When you get the screw attack, you can bounce those things around real easy.
That makes sense, because there are a lot of screw attack vulnerable boxes here.
Yep. We are definitely being told to screw attack things. Spark. Proof that the nagging voice of reason is the voice of reason for a reason. That's exactly right. Oh, fuck. Yeah, no, I thought, that's the other thing, too. I think Ripley is a fantastic character. And not just for, like, what the series made her into, but in the first one, the idea of a completely vulnerable protagonist is my favorite trope in the horror genre. Like, I don't like them to be, you know, unstoppable murder badasses that finally meet their match.
Then it's not horror at that point, though.
Right,
but then
exactly.
it's a completely different genre.
Yep. But how many horror movies do you know where, like, you know, it's the plot resolves itself by the main character becoming a bigger badass than the thing that's trying to kill them?
That's almost more of an action slasher than horror.
Yeah,
right?
you're right. You're right. I would say at that point it probably crosses the line into slasher, but
boy, this is frustrating.
No, this is okay. This part's okay.
This is not the kind of action I expect in my Metroid games.
Damn it,
I mean,
Chris.
it's an idea. I'm glad it breaks up gameplay a little bit, but it's definitely not my favorite puzzles in this game.
No, at least they have the courtesy to. Oh fuck!
No, this I like. This
duck
I like.
out. Quiet you. Okay. But yeah. So overall, like, Alien is one of those movies that I definitely have a soft spot for. I will admit, though, that it's also one of the few where the sequel is, the first sequel anyways, is absolutely as strong as the original, if not in a lot of ways stronger.
Yeah.
There it is.
At some point, I'm going to get the opportunity to watch that again.
Yeah. Hey, we should do it on one of our movie nights. Because I was going to insist that you all sit through the original with me, but if you like the sequel better, I'm so down for that. There we go. Now things die. Like they're supposed to.
Okay. Alright. Well,
Yes.
you could also hit one of them to clear them out, too, but...
Yeah, where's the fun in
Neat that they give you an actual use for the screw attack in this game, because that was always my kind of problem with the other games, is that the screw attack doesn't really open a lot of new things up for you once you get it.
No, it's just kind of
Particularly in
your
Super
reward
Metroid.
for making it to the end game, you know? Everything dies now.
One of the last items I got in the randomizer was, besides the bombs, was the screw attack. And I was like, I really don't need this for anything so long as I've got the space jump, huh?
Yeah. You know, in, I guess it has to be Dread, that I'm thinking of. Dread, they give you the screw attack, kind of early, like way before you get the space jump. And it's actually kind of fun in that context because it is way more useful for, like, as a traversal tool and like a puzzle solving mechanic.
It's kind of like the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild's school of gameplay now, where it's like they give you all the stuff immediately and then say, use this to solve puzzles.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, definitely not like Breath of the Wild in that sense where, you know, it's like totally open to you from the beginning. It's just they reorder it enough that you're like thinking about the screw attack a little bit differently than you would in the other games. Oh, this room.
Hey, this is neat.
It's just kind of like one of those, look how far you've come, where you can wipe out an entire nest of these things in one sitting.
It's like Taco Bell, where they have the same 5 ingredients, they just kind of reshuffle them into a new item.
Right.
They're gonna, like, summon a bigger one or something, right?
No, this is just a room where you just essentially wipe out the younglings.
Oh, okay, cool. I have to say, at this point, I've given both of the open world Zelda games a try, and I just
Not your thing.
can't do them.
Yeah,
do
you
them.
know, I will say I like
brother
Breath of
and
the Wild substantially more than Tears of the Kingdom, just because of how, in its own way, Tears of the Kingdom got. But yeah, I will suffer them, but they're not my favorite Zelda style
My
for sure.
brother and I recently played through Ocarina of Time, and I was so shocked on how well that game holds up all this time later. I
It does.
really miss the days of intentional map design instead of like, here, it's a map, do whatever.
Right. Yeah, like just big for the sake of big.
Right, it's like a mile wide and an inch deep. It was not for me.
I will say for my critique of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, at the very least, one of the things that did keep me playing in them was that I did find the worlds interesting to explore, at least. But yeah, I completely get what you're saying too. It absolutely felt like a lot of open padding, but at least I found the padding to be visually diverse and pleasing enough to want to continue.
Yeah, and for the record here, I'm not bitter about it. I don't like seeing the same game made over and over. It's like, it's another remake of I don't know, Final Fantasy VII. Well, I've already played that game. It was called Final Fantasy VII. What else have you got?
Yeah.
It's Resident Evil remake of the remake. I don't know. Give me Crow Country.
Don't
give
get
me a
me
new
wrong
IP.
though. I want the Resident Evil remake of a remake.
Yeah. So
there are some series that I will always be a cash cow for, and Resident Evil is one of them.
Yeah.
We all have our favorites though. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying. And one of the things though about Zelda that I think is kind of interesting and unique is that cheap viewer time, is that even though you're right, they can start to feel samey, the formula of Zelda really is kind of having no express formula. Like you can release a Zelda game with entirely new weapon and item dynamics and entirely new dungeon layouts and just, not rest on your laurels, and it turns out to be a good game. Kudos to them though for in Breath of the Wild. Oh fuck.
Hey.
This might be bad. For actually trying something that was a total series departure.
Yeah, no, I would always rather have something new than a rehash of something.
Yeah, even if it wasn't like what I'd like to see from a Zelda game, I give them credit for taking the series in a completely different direction.
And see, here's the thing is like, I'm glad they did something different, good for them. It just wasn't for me, and I'm not someone who gets bent out of shape and like, oh, they've ruined the game that I love. So I just move on with my life. It's a $60 game. It's not like I had all of my life savings invested in the company.
Exactly.
If I don't like it, I don't like it.
We live in this age where we have like an embarrassment of riches when it comes to game variety. Like, we have devices in our pockets that can play literally anything that we want. And so, yeah, to get like bent out of shape about, this or that series not being exactly like it was in '94 anymore, I mean, then find a new series with the elements that you're looking for.
If you're looking for a Metroidvania, there's a couple 100,000 of them on Steam.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And just like there's a couple 100,000 Zelda clones out there too.
I read a really interesting stat that there was like 19,000 games released on Steam last year.
Oh, really?
98% of them, 98% had no player base.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And the other 93% were porn.
I have no doubts. Is it just me, or is like your dashboard always filled with porn games?
A lot, yeah. So I don't want to turn off adult settings because there are some really good games out there that get classified in like mature content, or they like will have sexual content in the games, like for instance The Witcher 3. And if I filter those out, I don't get those games that I actually want. But by keeping it open, my god, there are so many porn games.
Yeah, Steam really does just not care about curation in any capacity.
Sparks takes this moment to remind me that some of us have only tiny fake pockets. Okay, well, then a device that can fit in our messenger bag, or whatever have you.
What's the old axiom? You can fit every N64 game ever made onto a single Switch cartridge.
Yep.
And how incredibly far technology's come, but yeah, this is one of those things where it's like with Steam, it's like, oh, the free market will determine who gets to the top. Well, whoops.
Yes
Maybe
and no.
not. Maybe not.
Let's see here. All right. I think I see where I want to go. This should be the room with the... Yep. Here you guys.
Okay.
There.
Well, that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna screw attack them, so.
Boy. Alright, so what I want to find out is this thing a thing?
Can you knock it into the next room?
I
Is that
think
a thing?
so.
I don't think so.
Oh no, you were right. Okay, that's
Okay.
just
I
a
didn't
red
think
herring. Or at least probably a red herring.
Well, there might be something in that room. Well, there's no item indicator for that room, so I guess not.
No? Maybe something in this... I guess I could go back and power bomb it real quick.
It's just a little strange when every other room is something, and that one's nothing. Also, that platform in the middle looks weird.
Yeah.
Huh.
You know,
Alright.
I don't know. Maybe
guess
it's one of
it's
those things that later in the game, because it's been a while, it's been long enough since I played this, I don't remember, like, when you get to the end game and they, like, give you the open tunnels where you can backtrack everywhere, what all of them are actually... Oh, in fact, here it is. This is the exact room that I was talking about. How many of them are actually useful? Okay, cool. So this is kind of neat because we get to just go back to some of these areas with the screw attack and pick up all of the items that were inaccessible before.
Yeah, solid design.
Yep. And you know, kudos to them for actually making it to be a like kind of central tunnel hub like that instead of nope, you've got to hoof it halfway across the freaking map just to get back to, you know, Brinstar or whatever. Of course, I will not criticize Super Metroid because that game was self-contained enough that that wasn't really an issue, but yeah. In a lot of other games, it can be.
Alright. I feel I need some closure on this. Let's see. I need to know what all this guy who programmed this game, I need to know what all he's done.
I think this was his only independent project. I forget what studio he works for now, but he does,
Right.
if I recall, work for an indie team.
Level designer for Ori 2.
Oh, he did
and
Ori?
Go Path of the Lotus Teal, of the Teal Lotus. Oh. Okay.
I don't know that one.
It was fine.
Okay. I liked Ori. Oh, well, I like both of the Ori games, actually. Anything really worth doing here? I don't want to get too far in the weeds backtracking here, but... Oh yeah, that is satisfying.
What else did he do? Okay, alright. Well, it's mostly that. Alright.
It's mostly...
Good for him.
Good for him to actually turn this into a functional career. Okay, so let's get the gravity suit, and I think we'll call this the episode. That was nice. Nope.
Oh no.
We got it, we got it. You just gotta believe in Chris. Sometimes.
Why was this added?
Yeah, like why was that necessary?
It just brings things to a crashing stop.
I like to think that I made it bearable.
Yeah, you got through it in pretty quick order.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, okay. Alright, I like these. I like these.
Get your gravity suit and your shine spark and nut up. Speaking
I
of
thought you were
which,
going to say get your shine box.
let me think
Get
here.
your shine box, Tommy.
Get your shine box, Tommy.
I watched that with a friend of mine recently.
What was that?
That was Goodfellas.
Goodfellas. Okay, thank you.
Yep. Go get your shine box, Tommy.
All of my quotes tend to run together in my head these days, which is probably a sign of mental deterioration, but... Or I've just watched so much garbage that I can't place it all.
Yeah, I actually ended up watching Goodfellas on the plane ride to Japan.
Oh, really?
It was there, so yeah, so we watched it.
Hey, Sparks, managed to stay awake for the whole stream. Nice. Well, I mean, we're not quite done yet, so don't count your eggs yet, or don't count your chickens. Count your eggs. How's that phrase go?
You can count whatever you want.
Yeah, I
man.
can't
No
count.
one's gonna
You know
tell
what, Sparks? You do you. You count. I think I biffed on the gravity suit. I think I was supposed to stay in the tunnel area.
No, that's fair. That's fair. It's all right.
We'll go back. Let's go back. Samus
One thing
just
about
in the water trying to breathe.
Metroid games is they don't make you suffer through the water areas to get the Varia suit.
Yeah, right.
Or the gravity suit.
Gravity
I'm
suit.
sorry.
Okay. We're gonna make it, Nick. Ugh. Okay. Now then. As we were. I will say, another thing that I appreciate about this game is, they give you the space jump in this one super early, but manage to not make it like a game-ending, game-breaking kind of thing where you can just...
No, they develop around it.
Yeah. He developed around it very creatively, which was kind of cool. Because, you know, once you gain the ability to fly, for most games, that's kind of it.
Well, complete side note, tax season starts in a week.
Oh yeah, how you doing?
I'm getting some things ready. I've got a partner this year that I'm going to be working with to expand the business, so...
Excellent. Good for you. You know what we haven't done in a couple of years is your post-tax season victory lap where I just take you out for really good food.
Well, but at the same time, we've also kind of done a thing in Bloomington for your birthday in February as well.
That's true, which I haven't scheduled yet, so maybe we should plan something. Okay. I'm going to be honest with you. I've seemed to have forgotten where the gravity suit is. So we're going to get to a save point, and we're going to next time on Play the Heads.
That's perfectly fine, because I'm certainly not going to know. It's been like a decade since I played this.
Only been a year for me. You'd think I would remember a little better.
It's a good game to have in the rotation. I mean, I got my books and my games that I like to play once a year. The Samus Link to the Past randomizer is one. Star Tropics is one. Black Company is a reread each year for me.
Oh shit, we got to talk about that. I finally read Black Company.
Yeah, we'll totally get to that. Yeah. I got a friend of mine hugely addicted to that at some point back in 2024. So
how long is that series? Because I really enjoyed Black Company by itself.
Technically, I think it's 8 novels. They're fine. The original trilogy, I think, is the best that series has to offer. Honestly, you can just duck right out as much as I love Black Company after the first novel.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah,
I thought it told a fairly complete, self-contained story, but
it sure did, and I love it for that. I mean, you can the trilogy follows up the end of the Dominator story arc.
Okay.
Everything else after that is fine. It's just Glenn Cook was moving on to other things that he wanted to work on, and his heart wasn't in it. Black Company 2 has some really neat plot things that he wanted to do with the series that he did very well.
Okay, cool.
But one is definitely his
here's the gravity suit.
Best. It's just right there.
Yep.
Okay.
The first door that I overlooked took us right to it. But yeah, thank you for sharing that. So maybe I will then commit myself to the trilogy, because I really enjoyed it. It was not over long, and it was just a fantastic story.
This is what I talk about when I talk about like Black Company versus Sanderson, right? Like Glenn Cook, he knows the story he wants to tell, and he's
And he
good,
tells it,
quick,
yeah.
and concise. Uh-huh.
That's great.
And I got a lot of love for that series. I
Yeah,
got a lot of love
I
for that
thank you
man's
for-
writing style.
Introducing me to it. It was the first one, anyways. Fantastic.
By the way, that is the progenitor of the grimdark, as they call it, genre.
Really?
Yeah, George R.R. Martin credits a lot of the Game of Thrones with Glenn Cook's works.
No kidding.
So, yeah, much like William Gibson pioneered steampunk, Black Company is the progenitor, written in the 1980s, of a lot of the grimdark stuff out there.
Oh, I guess we're doing one more boss fight before
That's all right.
next time.
I don't know what's in here, but it's gonna go down, and it's gonna go down hard. Okay.
Or maybe not. Give me the damn save point. Oh, words. Oh, do you want to know the stupid reason that I have not gotten into Game of Thrones yet?
Aside from the fact it's mediocre, go ahead.
Oh yeah, but you know, I just assume anything that you tell me is mediocre means there will be something I enjoy about it, but it's not going to knock my socks off. So
There's some decent stuff in it. Yeah, go ahead.
well, anyways, it's wholly stupid and unreasonable. There is a beautiful box set of the series at Morgenstern's,
Okay.
but of course it's incomplete. So like those are the editions that I want on my shelf, and I refuse to buy them as 5 of 7 books.
Chrissy's not going to finish the series. It's been
Okay, well
12
then when he
years since the
dies,
last
I'll
book.
buy the beautiful box set, but it's still going to be there.
They'll just have Brandon Sanderson do to Martin what they did to the Wheel of Time. They'll just have him finish it.
Yeah, they're just going to call Brandon Sanderson to finish Game
That's been a big meme for a while. That Sanderson's just going to step in and finish it. So
Like, man, I didn't expect the 5th and 7th books of Game of Thrones to be a trilogy each, but here we are. All right, that's enough. I like you, Sanderson. It's just
I know.
trim
I'm
your
sorry.
books.
You took 160 hours from my life, and I could have been rereading Dune. I
All right,
could
Nick, well, next time on
yeah.
Play the Hits, we should either finish this or be really darn close to the end.
All right. Well, I'm all for us wiping out another sentient species in the name of justice.
That's right. Until next time.
Yep. See you later, Space Cowboy.
See you, buddy. Hopefully soon.